All right. This is a garbage game. I'm going to explain why it's a garbage game. And my opinion is law, and that's just the way it is around here. You know, some people can be like, oh my god, he said that this is the only way things are, and I can't think for myself. Point proven. This was the Mortal Kombat game that was, as far as I'm concerned, the first red flag when it came to seeing the true direction of NRS. Now, I don't give a crap about what only pros say about the combat. Your opinion is about as useful as tits on a ball. I don't care about whether or not it's plus on block and minus on dick up my ass, right? What I care about is whether or not this feels like an actual fighting game. Does this feel not just a fighting game, but a Mortal Kombat fighting game, to be absolutely specific, right? Coming from MK9, right, even the menus are just stale, right? Just the layout of the menu, right, and the quality of the text, even in the menu alone, was one of the first things that I noticed about this game, right? Now, I remember playing the demo too, so we're going to get into that in a minute, because they did have a demo showcase in this game all the way back then, and I couldn't believe how different this game felt compared to MK9, right? And the PC version, we'll get into that too at some point. The PC version was a complete failure on launch as well, which did a lot of damage to its reputation, and that's probably the last game that High Voltage worked on as a port developer for NRS and Warner Brothers, and then we got Q-Lock that came in after that to fix everything. Now, they introduced in this particular thing, this faction type rubbish, right? Which allowed you to, you know, change your faction, and then what you do in meta essentially, right? Or even sometimes like with battles, you can sort of see who is the winning party here, right? And in theory it sounds good, but it was just dull as dishwater, right? And this was also the first time that a Mortal Kombat game had a live service attached to it. It was also the first Mortal Kombat game where we actually had fatality tokens, because apparently pressing 2-3 directions and a button in a fucking fighting game was too difficult for people out there. We have more fatality time than any other fighting game, any other previous Mortal Kombat game in history. If you ask them to do Reptile's invisible fatality from MK2, right, where you got a whole block, go up, up, down, high punch, and then forward, forward, down, high kick, in the literal second and a half, if not less than that, to kill someone in MK2, they would cry for a week. You have so much time now to do fatalities, and they just went, you know what, NRS MK players are just soft in the middle, so we're just going to give them a little bit extra. This stuff, the only thing that mattered with this crap was changing the background. I didn't give a crap about the rest of this shit. Like, it's just, oh, special forces, oh wow, this is amazing, oh, this is so cool, right, oh, what's the challenges, oh, okay. And as you can start to see, this is where we started to get the live service stuff coming in. A precursor, if you will, or not even a precursor, the foundation for having these challenges, today's challenges, right? So you do these things, and then it adds to the points, as you can see there, with global war points, right? And you know what this feels like? Just looking at this screen, this feels like I'm looking at some sort of superhero game with the spinning globe and shit like that. What? This doesn't make it feel like Mortal Kombat. This makes it feel like something else, right? So, I'm assuming the invasion boss in the tower was completely removed, right? You got a war tower, right, which says defeat the faction war champion's tower to help gain war points, right? And again, it's just this sort of shit, and we're gonna talk about the grime and the look of this fucking game, right? So this was another red flag, the whole live service aspect of it. And I remember Boone like sputting everywhere over it. He was so excited, right, about this horse shit. Okay, we didn't have any mini games to play or anything like that. It was just woefully cut down. Now, you'll notice too that this game also was the first Mortal Kombat game where it started veering away from the martial art feeling type tournament, like the feeling that we got in MK9 and obviously previous games, to this very grimy, dark, just like, you know, sort of starting to go down a horror theme, right? And we know that because with the fatalities, that's when they actually started to do things, right? They actually started to, you know, make these fatalities very detailed. Very, very detailed, right? Now, it's a big roster by the end of the season, you know, by the end of the game's life cycle, right? But there were some red flags in this game, right? We got all of these horror-themed characters that you can see here on the far right, you know, which was like a 3 extras than what we had with Freddy Krueger, and Freddy Krueger was a red flag. It was probably one of the extremely rare red flags when it came to MK10, right? We got introduced to dumbass characters like Aaron Black. I'm sorry, but a fucking cowboy in Mortal Kombat is the dumbest shit. I've never been a fan of guns. The only time I've actually approved of a gun being used as a special move is Striker's gun that came in Ultimate MK3. And because its wind-up, you know, wasn't too difficult to avoid, I didn't have a major issue with it. But when you got guys literally just going pop, 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 pop across the screen, never liked it. Never do. It's supposed to be Mortal Kombat, right? They also introduced a variation system in this pissant game, right? And along with that, they also uglified the women. Right, you can see Katana's face here, right? Starting to get a little bit mannish, square jaw. They were starting to cover up some of the ladies with their outfits, right? So if we look at, actually, we'll go back, hang on, we'll go back and check out the outfits that we have, right? We do have a classical one, right? So keep in mind, we're not at MK11 or MK1 censorship levels yet, right? But what is this fucking crap here? What is this Middle Eastern shit? Sorry, this was also something else that I noticed in MK10. This was when they started to copy the Earth realm type cultures and shit, and apply it to an alien realm. It's something I've talked about in MK1, right? Where it's like, these people are coming from an alien realm. Why would they be dressed as if they're coming from the fucking Middle East? Like, it's just weird. So we do have, like for Katana, you got a couple of little sexy outfits, right? But it was the face. The face was the big one, and then they started to cover up. Right, they started to cover up. Because I think on this one, let me just check, because I know it'll zoom out in a sec. We got Melina here, right? Because that's probably the only other one. Right, you get a little bit, like they're still not fully, you know, fully afraid of boobs just yet. Right? And actually, we'll choose a stage, but not to mention, there's fuck all stages in this game too. Right? This is what, 16 stages? Is it no, 14 stages. 14 stages in this game. Like, it's just stupid. Just stupid. Now, it didn't have the full censorship like it does later when MK11 came out, and of course MK1. But you'll notice things like who's designing these fucking outfits? Like, look at Katana's. Look at her face. You know, if you can stomach it. But look at her pants. Like, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Why has she got, like, food holders on her thighs? It looks stupid. Not to mention, while we're in-game, by the way, look how dark this shit is. Right? This doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat. It feels like, you know, like an MK versus DC type game where we had these different arenas and stuff, but there was this superhero feel or superhero type location to it. It was also in this particular game where, and I think we can go back to, I don't know if Total MK was talking about this back then, But he said, I'll make Outworld purple again, right? And that's because they started yet again copying this sort of sandy Middle East type shit for Outworld. Outworld is not that at all. It was also the first time that we started to really notice that they were pushing towards this type of look, this fucking, you know, pharaoh type look that they have, you know, or mummy type look with Ermac, right? Fucking hate this character, dumbass. I can't stand Aztec shit anyway, so this was just stupid. This was like fucking, you know, Wish version of Shao Kahn, right? Didn't like most of these guest characters, and this is the worst offender, right? I see bitches out there so excited about this broad, and it's like, oh yeah, she's so great. No, she's literally like a fucking cat lady feminist bitch with bugs crawling out of coochie, right? It's just awful. Also, look at the faces on these broads, like just fugly as shit. Just fugly, right? And also, it was the combat kids. These four aggressors here, right? The whole combat kid crap never worked. Now, maybe if you're an NRS fanboy, sure. But I never liked it, right? It was also hinted in a sort of roundabout way that we got the good old gay character in Mortal Kombat, right? Because that's what Mortal Kombat needed. Butt sex, right? Tanya was probably like, this is the last time Tanya actually looked the way she did. People keep saying that she's whitewashed. She don't look whitewashed to me. Are you blind? She looks pretty brown to me, but she looks like Egyptian slash, I don't know. She doesn't look like a black American. I see these I see these people keep claiming that she's like the first black American or black lady. Well, she could be Mediterranean, you fucking racist, right? We finally got Tremor as a playable character, right, in a Mortal Kombat game, right? Which was like, he was okay. He was okay, right? He kind of just, you know, he kind of just looked like the Hulk. You know, never cared for Bo Rytro. Like, he's fine. Like, he's okay, but like, some weird choices for DLC characters, right? Triborg was alright, you know, but the other thing I hated in this game, and this is the other thing too I never really liked, when they take boss characters and make them playable, as in like they dumb them down to a player level, right? So me and Total, like, obviously, like, I understand Total MK's position on boss characters in Trilogy, but those boss characters are meant to be there to be overpowered. They are literally taken from in-game as their sub-boss and boss positions, and you just have some fuck around fun with them, right? They're not meant to be taken serious. But what we've noticed, and I even didn't like it with MK4, taking a boss character and making it playable completely takes out the fear of facing the boss character, right? So they take characters like Goro, right? Or Shao Kahn, or Shinnok, and make them playable. And Shinnok is in this too. Like, some of these designs are okay, but the thing that also killed it for me is the stupid ass variation system. And they have been doing this dumbass shit ever since. Fucking gimmicks when it comes to the gameplay. Ed Boon and his gimmicks came in with MK Deadly Alliance. Oh, you get 2 unarmed and an armed combat stance. Oh, then a deception, you know, it was the same. And then in Armageddon, they cut it down. Probably because, you know, they had all the characters in there and they didn't have enough to go around. So they only had to give 1 unarmed, 1 armed, right? I hated this shit. Just give me all the fucking moves on one character. And then in MK11, they went a step worse and made it that you can only select certain ones. And you couldn't have certain ones together. This was also the last time in MK history that we just got outfits. Right? No fucking gear pieces, just the outfits. I think these need to happen again. We don't need gear pieces. Or, you know, actually, to a small degree, I'm not against the gear pieces in MK1, to be fair. Because, you know, you can change the mask on the ninjas, right? But we absolutely need to go back to being just badass outfits. Right? And keep them fucking relevant. I'm not getting no pink fucking Sub-Zero here. Right? You know, when you choose these skins, guess what? Guess what you're getting? You're getting Sub-Zero. You can tell it's fucking Sub-Zero. When it's Scorpion and you're going through these skins, oh, okay, yep, it's Scorpion. I can tell. Yep, it's Scorpion. Like, but now we got pink. You blame MK11 for that shit. Right? And everything's so fucking dark. Everything's so dark and dreary. It's like somebody literally crafted fucking depression and called it a Mortal Kombat game. It was also the first time they got living towers. And living towers was basically taking the random combat modifiers from MK9 and obviously previous MK games where you could put in codes for different modifiers for combat and changing how the game plays. Now, I'm not against the living towers idea as such. I do prefer, or at least wish, we also had a simple game mode, just like in MK9, where it was that random combat. And you had the different slot machines, you get random modifiers, and then you had to try and do your best to survive. Don't like these towers. They're certainly a lot better than what we have in MK1, but I'm not a big fan of these towers, you know, not overly. Again, everything's fucking just dark, man. Everything's just so dark. By the way, the story was pus. Right? Like, absolutely just pus. Right? I remember playing this on the console. Right? That's why it's not done on PC. Right? But this is just fucking garbage. Just absolute fucking garbage. That's why I never came back and redid it on PC. Right? Because it's not worth the time. It's just not worth it. Right? It is such a shit story because after what we got in MK9, where Sindel goes mental, right? She has a full fucking, you know, period, smash everyone around shit. What happened? Like, they just forgot everything that mattered. They forgot everything that mattered in this game, right? Oh, we do have Test Your Luck. Oh, there we go. Hang on, wait. I want to see what this is first. Right? I want to see how this works. Now, we'll put it... Oh, no, it doesn't matter because I'm only doing the video. Oh. Hang on. So we can have up to 7 modifiers. Let's have a look and see what happens. I want to compare. So, I thought they didn't have this in here. Right? So they do. So that's good. Right? It shows you how much I give a shit about this game. Let's see what it does. Is it kind of similar to MK9? Okay, alright, cool. Alright, I'll give you that. Right? That they got it in this game. Alright? You put a good thing in a fucked game. Well done. Right? There we go. Okay, that's fine. Right? This mode needs to come back. Right? And you can do this online as well. I think that'd be really... Well, no, I don't know if you can do this online in MK10. But they need to do this online. That's the other thing too. Like, you know, I actually prefer the graphics engine in MK9 than this. Whatever engine that they're using in this particular game, for those that suffer with motion wobblies, we'll just go back to a normal match, right? So that's good, okay, there we go, I got it, right? Got that one wrong. Right, I'm not fucking redoing the video, there's too much good stuff I've been ranting about in this thing, right? So, we go subby, okay. I can't get over how little amount of stages there are. Jesus, stages to me are like characters. You got to have a lot of them, right? And if you're gonna have a small roster, you need to have at least the same amount of character stages, if not more. This is also the part where, like, you know, like they did have the, like, they still obviously had like the chatty stuff, which was fine, right? But this is where, like, I don't like the engine compared to MK10. Sorry, MK9, right? Something feels... It just feels off. And we've seen it in the design of the characters, right? Some of these outfits do look okay, but they also removed battle damage. We don't have battle damage anymore because that meant that we'd see side boob. Right? That's the reason why they got rid of it, because we'd actually see side boob. Right? But they put a whole bunch of sweat on. Right? It looks like people have been rained on by the end of a fight. It's just stupid. Okay? So... And that's the other thing too, right? The fucking jumping off stuff. Like, what is this stupid ass shit? What is this stupid ass shit, right, in this game, right? Not to mention, just like FYI, right? They also changed, like, so you could now. I mean, I'd have to like practice a little bit, but I don't think you can. You used to be able to like do a jump kick and harpoon, or spear for those idiots out there, right? So you could actually catch them in the air, right? They got rid of that. Okay, at least he's got his leg takedown in this, right? So maybe some of the people that were working on this, that were also part of MK9, you know, were like, oh, we need to keep some semblance of normalcy for Scorpion. But they changed the directional input. It used to be back, right? And then they changed it to back forward. Why? Because then we got a dash back. Or the what was it, the run forward, right? That you can do as well. So they changed that dynamic. Right, they could have just had a fucking run meter or a dodge meter like we do have in, what do you call it? In, not Blaze Blue, fucking Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, right? Where you can, like, dodge out of the way or dodge through things and stuff like that. But the X-rays in this, right, they look worse, okay? And the fatalities, right? The fatalities in this is where I noticed too that they were starting to go a bit stupid when it came to the gore. We had to see, you know, the eyeballs, we had to see all the insides, the organs and shit like that. And we know that they, you know, were amping that up because, right, I'm not playing properly, I don't give a fuck, right? I'm just like talking while I'm doing the video. Fuck off, idiot. Now, actually, I'll do my X-ray. Because in MK11, there were reports coming out that people were getting PTSD from researching cadavers and shit. You know, for all the body dismemberment and stuff in MK11. Right? Now, and this is the other thing I fucking hate too. These bloated special move lists that they do. Look at this fucking crap. Right? It's just like... You got all, it's just, so that's just the basics. Then you got the combos. Then the special moves is the most egregious one, right? Obviously, most people know that if you enhance it, like they just got to tell you. And then they introduce, like, because I know in Quan Chi, as an example in MK9, you could do his different blasts in different spots across the screen. I kind of hate that, right? Just make it so it targets them, right? Just have it so it just drops straight on them. You don't need to have a front one and a back one and a middle one. Right? Don't be stupid. Anyway, so who's next? Is it maybe we'll do that one. We'll do that one if I can. Hang on. Nah, he's not letting me do it. Is it fucking, hang on. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was opposite direction. There we go. Now this is when they decided to do all this intimate detail of this crap. Like when we really needed to see, oh, we need to see the intricacies of how the brain looks and have it flop out in the tongue and stuff. This dude looks like he's got an infection on his skin. Look at this shit. Looks stupid. You know why people defend this game? Because if you're an NRS fanboy, you got nothing else. Right? This is your MK9. And people go, but MK9 was NRS. Just shut up, right? MK9 was being developed under Midway before the acquisition of Warner Brothers. Right? That's why MK9 feels so amazing. Look at these fucking wasted characters here. Cassie Cage, fucking Jackie, Kung Jin, and this idiot Takeda, right? And he's the best idiot out of all four. Just a weird fucking roster and dumbass characters that they've added into this. It's the same with MK11 when they put in the new characters into that. Apart from the Collector, all the other characters don't feel like MK characters. This is just copying Aztec shit. This is now like, oh, it's not a new character, but this is copying the fucking mummy crap. A fucking cowboy. What? Like, I can't believe people actually like this chick and, oh yeah, Slay Queen. You're fucking weird. Like, you're just weird. You know, the game feels like weaponized depression, right? And then we have the online, okay? which is still beholden to the old networking code from MK9, right? Isn't it funny? Isn't it fucking hilarious how they delisted MK9? And everyone says, oh, it's because of Freddy. And we've got 4 guest characters in here. Still using the old network code. Still able to be bought. And this is an old ass game now. So you got rooms, you got versus, obviously, team battle, King of the Hill, right? I mean, we certainly got more in this than we do in the current literal MK1. But there's no personality here. There's just none. When you go into the online mode in MK9, right? And I'm using MK9 as the standard here. You got Shao Kahn standing there, you know, and then when you highlight like that certain part, his hand opens up and it's on fire and shit or whatever it is. You know, that's awesome. This just feels like this is absolutely where Mortal Kombat started to change its roots. It just doesn't feel like a tournament anymore. Right, both with this game and MK11, they felt like special forces type shit. And MK1 doesn't even know what the fuck it's doing. And it just feels like, you know, it's this... It just feels different. You know, it's this real dark, depressive feel. Like I said, they started to change how the females look. I mean, look at this. Right? I wouldn't want to run her across this in a fucking dark alley. Right? This is probably the best. I'd probably say that Tanya's probably the best in this game. Right? They almost look like they're made out of plasticine. Right? And I see people praising this shit all the time. You want to know why? Because they're NRS fanboys. Because to them, this was their MK9. Right? This was their MK9. Okay? And going back, right? So the PC version, when it launched, they were doing it in piecemeal, like they do with consoles, where you put the disc in and it starts to install the game, and then it gets to a certain point you can start playing the game. Well, the idiots at High Voltage go, oh, we'll do the same on PC. You don't need to, bro. It's all digital. Just relax. So we download like 4 gig, and it's like, oh, that's a really small game. Load it up. There's like 2 characters in one stage. And then they go, oh, you'll get the rest of it tomorrow. It's like, what? We pay for this shit right now, clown. We want it now. Right? So that's the PC launch being fucked. That absolutely fucked the PC launch when it came to this game. Right? Just destroyed it. But I know this is a big favorite. This is a big favorite when it comes to the Only Pro scene, right? Because as we know, even with MK9, they got people in that started to help develop for the esports crowd. Thankfully though, with MK9, it didn't seem to impact it too much. Like in the sense of like, it still felt like a Mortal Kombat game. It didn't feel like it was compromised. But once we started getting to this, which was technically the second game truly made under the NRS banner, the first being Injustice, this game was also, as I pointed out, infected by Injustice, right? With the jumping off stuff or throwing things or whatever. Ed Boon, he has been wanting to infect Mortal Kombat with other game type ideas all the way back since he was solely in charge with the 3D era. That's why the 3D era is Tekken clones, right? But, and I'll be honest, MK1 has a better roster than this, right? It has a better roster because we got rid of shit characters like this one and fucking this one and this one. Who else we got in here? You know, oh yeah, and we don't, apart from Takeda, we don't have these clowns anymore, right? So MK1 was definitely got a better roster selection. It's just that the rest of the game is garbage, right? The rest of the game is garbage. But this is it, man. The slow censorship, the uglification of the women, pushing it more towards the esports crowd, dark, grim. Like, you can have a dark tone, right? But this is depression, man. Like, you can have slight sad, but this is the big sad here, right? This is the big sad. We need Mortal Kombat to feel like that mystical Asian martial art feel, right? But obviously with some of the design choices and directions they made, like with the massive amounts of detail when you do fatalities, they also introduced the fucking brutalities in this game. I know they got stage fatalities, but who gives a shit, right? It was like brought in later. It wasn't even on launch. So with the brutalities, they changed how brutalities worked. Oh, if you get in the last hit, yeah, fucking loser shit, right? A brutality, which was introduced in Mortal Kombat Trilogy, is when you press a whole bunch of buttons and then your character goes on this auto combo to just annihilate their body, right? That's the brutality. But yet again, they change shit because they think they're fucking clever. And now they just sell that shit now in the seasonal store with this current season, right? You gotta grind the coins up for that crap to get this rubbish. You know, you can, and I will finalize with this. This is the absolute beginning of the end of Mortal Kombat as Mortal Kombat right here. Right? You might get some of these characters like Scorpion looks badass and shit like that, right? But the rest of it is just too blah. And the gameplay as well. The gameplay felt so different compared to fucking MK9. Just so different. Apart from having to fucking select different variations, which is the stupidest thing I'd ever heard, right? The gameplay started to feel very stiff, right? It didn't feel smooth, right? Just didn't feel smooth, right? With MK9, and I've talked about this before, when you do moves, like a kick or a punch or whatever, it feels like there's a follow through. In this, it kind of feels like they're pulling that back, right? So there's no sort of like follow through to it. I can't explain it, but like for a long time, you know, Mortal Kombat has been, you know, under NRS's banner, has been absolutely like, you know, attacked for its jankiness and stiff gameplay. We never had that in MK9. It was never an issue. There's actually a very old video, you might be able to find it, right? Just coming back, I want to show you something. It was talking about why do the character stances look so weird, right? Especially on the females. Actually, I'll go into training so we can just look, right? Fucking fatality tokens, I'll tell you what, man. Imagine being that. One brain cell and all, right? Somebody did a video a very long time ago about MK10's stances and why the characters feel unnatural in some of the characters and how they stand there just in their idle poses. Look at the way that they move, right? Just look at Katana. She's kind of arching her back forward, right? Her hips are back. Like, it's just this really unnatural sort of shit, right? Not to mention all the bad clipping and stuff. My God, Jesus. Right? That's woeful. Anyway, and those pants are just shit. But very unnatural. If you look it up, there was this video that was done about it, about the stances. You know, right? There is just, they have lost their way. Mortal Kombat has lost its way, and this, for many people that noticed this, especially coming off MK9, realized that this was the start of the beginning of the end. And then MK11 absolutely cemented it, right? Absolutely cemented it. This is not a game, like, you might play this if you're like so nostalgic for like shit on toast, but like, nah, I'm sorry. It's just, you know, it's a mid game. Like, and less than that for me. Anyway, catch you next time.